Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Home Study. This is the podcast for parents, especially those who have children through or are exploring foster care and adoption. We are here to help you navigate the world beyond paperwork and placement. Thanks for being here. All right, everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Home Study. It's a new episode. Just Laura and me here chit chatting tonight.
Just us.
Just us.
Today we are going to be talking all about those battles that you just aren't going to fight today. So the ones, you know what we're talking about, the ones where, you're letting them wear the pajamas to the grocery store. You're turning it back and say, I can't even fight this moment. So today, if you're listening to this episode, you're going to get a little bit of some battles we've not fought, or maybe some that we have and wish we didn't.
Yep.
We're going to talk a little bit about why some seasons seem like that's happening more. Why are there more battles sometimes than others? Some practical strategies that we've learned, and just some encouragement along the way. So,
Yeah.
welcome to today's episode.
Yay. So before we dive right into all the battles that we're not fighting, let's just kind of chat about our weeks and give us a little update. What's been going on in your life?
This week, this week, if you're listening to this, this for us is Labor Day weekend, like coming
Yes.
up. And we are attempting to take our kids camping, like
Ooh.
tent camping. They've been in an RV before, and we've talked about doing this for a long time. And I'm crossing my fingers that nobody's sick because there might be a cold coming on in our house.
Oh.
Um, I know, but if they don't, then we're gonna attempt to go camping. So that's new for us.
Okay, so tell me about your setup. Like, what are you taking? What are some things that you have
Oh,
to
that's
have
funny
with
because
you for
I'm
your
trying to
kids?
keep it, like, really low key to where
Ooh,
I'm, like,
okay.
not thinking about all of that. Yeah, like, we have a tent, we have sleeping bags. Greg and I used to go camping all the time anyway, so, like, we have a bunch of stuff, and we're trying to be chill. We're trying to just be like, we wanna make this so we can just be like, "Let's go camping," and we just go. But my real concern is that we have to take our dog, and he's dog aggressive, and there's always other dogs there, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
I remember the first time that we went camping with our dog, and it was like, I'm just gonna hope and pray this doesn't happen to you. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I don't know if there was a coyote or something, like, got into what sounded like a chicken pen. Like, I don't even know, there weren't even houses around us, so I don't know where this was, but it was like coyote or wolf, chicken noise, it like going at each other. And of course, our dog Watson was all
Go
out of
berserk.
sorts. Yeah, like trying to claw his way out of the tent. It
Oh
was
my god.
it was really something. And then we had him on like a long lead so that he
Mhm.
wouldn't escape forever when we were just like out at the campfire or like making food. And he ran so hard, like so fast on the lead and like flipped over backwards.
Oh,
Like,
like clotheslined himself?
yeah, like could have broken his neck. So, I we might have gone one other time other than that, but that was it.
We have taken our
So,
dog camping before, so he has been,
but not with kids.
but not with kids, and, like, it is stressful because, like, if other dogs come around us, then and when you're like, "Oh, yeah, I don't know, we'll see how it goes." We may back out at the last minute.
Oh man. Well, I hope not, because I have really sweet memories of camping when I was a kid, and I would love to do that with our kids one day. Not anytime soon, but at some point.
We'll see how it goes, but the
Yeah.
good news is we got them cute little book bags. We did do this, but partly
Oh,
'cause they needed book bags anyway, but we got them these cute little book bags, and they've been, like, wearing them around their house with their little water bottles, and it's, like, the cutest thing
cute.
ever.
Are you gonna do, like, some hikes or kinda walks? Like, what's the plan once you get there?
So, the plan is to maybe go on some hikes.
Mhm.
Again, like, you have to be careful. We have a muzzle. We might just have to muzzle him because, like,
Yeah.
some people will bring their dogs off leash, and they'll run up to us. That's what we're concerned about. Um But, yeah, maybe some hikes, and then, I'd like to go climbing, but we can't do that with the kids and the dog.
Mm,
So Greg would have to leave and I would meet up with some friends. So we'll see.
gotcha.
May not happen, but it's an
Yeah.
option.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so fun.
What are your all's plans? Or do you have any?
Yeah, we're gonna keep it really, really chill and just hang out at our house and then at my parents' and have a cookout. And Judah is really obsessed with hot dogs these days. And so he's very excited to have hot dogs. And so that had to be on the menu for Labor Day. So,
Well, it's a hot
yeah,
dog weekend.
it really is, I know. Hopefully be outside. The weather is, like, starting to get a little cooler, and
Mhm.
so we're hoping to just be outside a lot, and, we've been wanting to go down we have, like, a river that runs near our house and go just, like, explore the river, but I can't do that with the girls and Judah on my own because I can't get them all down there at the same time. So, I think we might try to do that tomorrow, or it's raining now, so we might have to wait a day
Mm.
until that calms down a little bit. But yeah, just like stay around here. Simple.
Fun.
Yeah.
Well, we may end up doing that anyway, so we might be
Yeah.
right there with you.
Hey, you could camp in
Um,
your backyard. You could set up your tent in the backyard.
we could, and we people have said that, but I guarantee that if we did that, our kids would be like, "Okay, I'm ready to go outside now."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll
It'll
see."
still whatever you end up doing will still be fun.
Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about these meltdowns, these tantrums, these
Yeah.
battles that we are just not fighting. Do you have any
Yeah.
examples from today? Because
um
we have toddlers.
I know, seriously. Let's see. Today, well, something that's kind of top of mind is we have really been wanting to like have better family time at dinner, like more,
Mm,
where we all sit down at the table, we eat together, little kumbaya moment at the end of the day before the rest of the night continues to spiral sometimes. Um, but it's just not reality most nights because the girls need to eat, and then so that Josh and I are each holding one of the girls, and then Judah is running laps around the table,
of
takes
course.
his clothes off and runs around and goes, just like the whole thing. And so I have actually been thinking like, okay, wait, we really need to start like Judah, you and I talked to him about this the other night. It's like, Judah, you need to start modeling like what good manners look like at the table because your sisters will be watching you very soon. Like they'll be up in high chairs and like watching you very soon. And then I actually heard on a podcast today, like, parents, if you are not doing these things like that you're telling your kids to do, like you can't expect them to do it because you are modeling to them. Like you're a hypocrite. And I'm thinking like, what have I been doing at the table lately? Like I get up and down 15 times because I, need to do whatever. So anyways, just all those things. So tonight at dinner, I was like, I don't really care what he does. Like, you know what? He stood on his chair without pants on and ate, 3 bites of his dinner and then got up and ran around. And I was like, well, that was tonight. So that's how it
Yep,
went.
not fighting that battle.
Nope.
No, I think that's good. I actually hear the dinner table one a lot, like, with clients. It's
Mm,
like we have this, like, instilled in our mind that, like, family dinner, it's so important, and it is, like, research does show that that's important, but I think sometimes we just are, like, in such a hurry to get our kids to a place that they're not. Like, Judah's 3.
yeah.
That's so age appropriate. Like,
Yeah,
"Wow,
and
you got 3 bites? Good job."
I
Like,
know,
that was impressive.
and, like, when I think about the sweet times we have as a family having dinner, it's like on Friday nights, we call them pizza parties. We make pizza or we get pizza, and we all sit down in front of the TV and we watch something as we eat. And like that is one of the sweetest dinners that we have all week because we're all sitting together and like we're not at the table. We're not like having focused conversation in any way. We're watching a screen. But yeah, those are just like some of the things where I'm like, you know what? He'll remember that. And that's sweet. So,
Well, and you'll get one every now and then.
sure.
Like, we do the same thing. So we try to sit down at the table, and we don't have any, like, regulations for the kids. Like, it's, "Hey, guys, here's your food. Come sit." They come sit. We do pray. And even then, talk about battles I'm not fighting. Today, literally today, Greg is praying and does start screaming, "I don't want you to pray!" And he was screaming so loud that we couldn't pray over him. So I was
Yeah.
like, "Amen." Like,
Yeah. That's how it
silent
goes.
prayer it is. We're good.
Uh-huh.
Um, but anyway, yeah, like, and then every now and then we'll get like a night where everyone sits and eats, and we like, huh, this is great. But like with these little ones, like so much of it matters, like how hungry are they, or how involved in what they're doing, because they're like so would rather play than eat,
Yeah.
right? You know,
Yeah, for sure.
that's a good one though.
Yeah.
I
What
have
about
a
you?
great visual in my mind. Oh gosh, battles I'm not fighting. I would say the one that comes up most often is around sleep. So like nap time. And this one has taken me so long to learn, and I still like have to remind myself constantly about it. But like I'll get fixated that like, okay, it is nap time. We have to nap right now, you know. And then, like, my daughter doesn't even nap, but my son will be, like, not ready and starting to, like, pitch a fit, or, or sometimes he's pleasantly not ready, and he's just like, "Nope, I'm playing." And I can get, like, so fixated and cause a meltdown, like, because I'm, like, nitpicking, as opposed to just being like, this is what I've learned works really well now, is just being like, okay, I'm going to go in your room and lay down. When you're ready, come to me. And it's usually within like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
He just like finishes up what he's doing. Now, not if he's like upset, that's different, but like, yeah, just like not fighting that battle. Like, just let it be. Like, let him come when he's ready. Like, it works out better. It teaches him more about what his body is ready for and when he does feel tired, because sometimes it is like a half an hour too early. And really, the motivation is, I want to break, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's really that pressure is like, you need a nap now, is I need a break right now.
Yeah.
But if I go in his room and lay down, I get my break.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's a really good one. Anything around, like, time, schedule, like, those kinds of
Yes.
things, I mean, especially now having the twins who are 6 months old. They're taking about 3 naps a day right now, but they're
Okay. Yeah.
still, like, sometimes they wake up a little later, sometimes they need to go to bed early, like, like, it's all over the place, and so, yeah, it's kinda that same thing of, like, I want Judah to have lunch at 11:30 or even 12 because then I know that, like, the girls are down. They had like, so I get, like, kind of my little break. He, like, has his little watch time while he has his lunch. I get my little break, and then he can go have his rest time, like, it kinda flows right in. But then there's days where it's 10:45 and he's like, "I want my lunch." And I'm like, "Ah, okay." You know?
You're
Like,
ruining my timeline.
I know, like, "That's not how I wanted this afternoon to go," or, whatever, like, just different things like that. It's totally, like, my projections onto him.
Hey, friends, if you've been enjoying Beyond the Home Study, there are a couple of easy ways to support the show. First, follow and leave a quick 5-star review. It helps other adoptive and foster families find us. Second, we just set up a Buy Me a Coffee page. It's a simple way to say, hey, I love what you're doing, and it helps us to keep the podcast going. You can check it out at buymeacoffee.com/beyond the home study, or check out the link below. And as always, we're so grateful you're here. Yeah, I think the more kids, the more that became a thing. Like, when it was one kid, it was easier to just, like, adjust.
Yep.
Okay, whatever, like, I'll get my quiet time, or we'll do this, push it back a half an hour. But when you're, like, trying to coordinate, like, "Yeah, but you have to do this." And I think that's where our, like, Enneagram 1 perfectionism tendencies tend to,
Mhm.
like, hyperdrive, where if we were a little more type B, I don't think this would bother us as much. But we're like,
Yeah.
"No, we wanna stick to this." And when I can, like, zoom out and just be like, "Really, what's it matter, Laura? Like,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
like, maybe he
I
doesn't
know.
nap. That's not the end of the world either." Like,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah. I
that's when
know.
things are a lot more peaceful in our house.
Oh, for sure, and I think, like, 2 things. 1, I hear people talk about all the time, like, have a routine, not a schedule, and, like, I don't like that. I mean, if I'm being really honest, like, I don't like that because I like things to happen, like, at the times that I want them to happen, where it's so apparent that, like, Judah, he knows the routine, but he's not looking at the clock. He's not,
Right.
watching the time and all the different things. And so, yeah, just like on those days that I can really submit my expectations and my, projections on
Agenda.
him. Yeah, and my agenda, if I can just like surrender that and be like, okay, that's not what we're doing today. It's going to look a little different. And like, it doesn't mean that I let Judah walk all over me either. Like, I feel like there's like this kind of, there's this line of like, we're not having lunch at 9:30 in the morning, like, eat your breakfast that you didn't eat an hour ago, like that kinda thing, I guess,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's totally those days that I'm just like, "Yeah, I just have to surrender my idea of the schedule," and I will say the other I don't know if this falls into, like, a battle I'm not fighting, but, like, I do not like having things planned in, like, the late afternoon and evening, like, because
Mhm.
I don't know what it's gonna be like, I don't know what the day has been like and how it's gonna all so, that's just another thing I feel like in this season of my life, like, if there are things that, like, have to get done or, like, things, that, like, really are on the schedule, they have to be in the morning.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of families do that because
Yeah.
yeah, it's just less predictable, especially the little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like losing that agenda, the routines for sure, like, they're not looking at the clock. I had a thought, and I forgot what it was. Hmm.
I did think of something else because I think earlier I said I had 2 things and I only said 1. I have a friend who I love her perspective of, like, if kids don't take a nap, it's like it might be a little bit treacherous, especially kids who are, like, used to taking naps. It might be, like, a little treacherous and a little hard from, like, 3 to 5 or 4 to 6 or whatever the hours are that are gonna be hard. But then you can put them to bed early, and then, like, you get a free night. Like, carry on
Well,
with your evening.
some kids, it doesn't work that way.
I know, it is true. It is true that there are definitely sometimes and there's sometimes with Judah too, like, he won't take a nap and he'll still be partying till 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I'm like, "Woo, I don't know how you're still going because 'cause you've been up since
Right?
6." But
Same.
so, like, there's days like that, but I also think for them, like, I don't know, the majority of times for us at least, like, I can count on getting a break at some point, even if it's much later than what I expected.
Yeah. I remember what I was gonna say. It was to your point about, like, you're not letting him walk all over you.
Ooh,
I
yeah.
think this is super important for people to, like, to think about and hear, especially if your child has gone through trauma. Like if your child is adopted, is in foster care, has significant trauma, little t trauma, big T trauma, it doesn't matter. Um, there's this idea that like if we said no originally and then we change our mind, that they quote
Mm.
win or we let them walk all over us. And I don't this is like such an egotistical like idea that doesn't actually like play out in the adult world. So if you were to be like, "Hey Laura, could we go to the mall today?" And I'm like, "No, like no, I don't really want to go to the mall." And then you're like, "Oh, but they have a sale." I'd be like, "Ooh, well, let me see if I could like rearrange some things. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go." Right? Like, I
That's
changed my mind.
yeah.
You gave me new information, or I just thought about it a minute longer and was like, "You know what? I said no because I was tired, but I actually think if I just went and got some coffee or maybe it would energize me more to go." Like, you can change your mind. But
Yeah.
with our kids, we're like, "Oh, no. If I give a little, if I give a mouse a cookie, right? Like, if I give in a
Yeah.
little, they're gonna walk all over me." And there's no and, like, yes, there is something about keeping boundaries for sure, like, kids aren't adults, and so there's not this, like, one-to-one comparison, like, they don't understand that, like, cake first thing in the morning, like, is gonna set you up to not, like,
Yeah.
be as good, whatever, like, your insulin's gonna spike, like, they don't understand that.
Sure.
But we can teach our kids that sometimes we change our mind, and that's okay, while still holding boundaries. We do this all the time. In my house, my kids will actually ask me sometimes, "Can you change your mind?"
Oh,
But
that's so
but the
sweet.
Right? But the other thing they'll do, and this one we taught them, that one they picked up on.
Yeah.
This one we taught them is, "Would you like to ask for a compromise?" So, my kids are 2 and 3, and they will say, "Mom, can I watch TV?" And I'll say, "No, we're not gonna watch TV right now, we're getting ready to do this." And they'll say, "Can I have a compromise?" And I'll say, let me think about it." And then I'll say, "Uh, you know, okay, we don't have to do this right now. If you want, we could listen to music or we can listen to a story on the TV. We're not going to watch TV because whatever reason I have, but you can listen to a story on the TV.
That's
You
really
know, I'm
good.
still holding a boundary, but I'm compromising. And the reason this is so important is because it teaches your kids to trust you and that you're on their team.
Yeah.
That you're not just like the dictator that's like, "I've determined what we're doing, when we're doing, and why we're doing it, and I don't wanna hear anything otherwise." You know?
Yep. I think that's so good, and I think about that a lot when I wanna just say no, because like, I'm over it, I don't wanna worry about that right now, or I've already, given you 14 other options that you don't want, whatever it is, and I just wanna say no, and I have to think about, like, okay, redirect, 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 like, what am I offering you that's maybe even better than the thing that you're wanting? And, like, trying to get your mind off of this one thing for whatever reason. Like, sometimes it's just a petty reason because it's not part of what I want you to do in this moment or what I wanna listen to or, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but then, yeah, just, like, trying to redirect and figure something else out. We do that all the time where it's like, "I wanna watch something." "Alright, no, let's listen to a podcast or get your Yodo out," or, like, do
Mhm.
something that and typically, it's 2 minutes later, he doesn't even remember that he wanted to watch something.
Right.
He's off on the next magnetile tower or whatever he's doing. So
And thinking about their reasonings behind why they're asking what they're asking is really
mhm.
helpful in coming up with that answer. Like, sometimes my kids are asking like, TV's obviously super common. So, like, sometimes they're asking for TV because 'cause they're bored. And then I can offer a compromise where I'm saying, "Okay, we're not gonna watch TV right now, but would you like me to play a game with you?" And they're like, "Yeah!" You know? Or sometimes they're tired and they're
Yep.
asking for TV because they just wanna chill, and then that's when I'm gonna be like, "Well, do you want a story? Do you wanna listen to your Yodo player? Do you want me to read you a book?" You know, some things like that, but, like, trying to tap into, like, what are they wanting from the request can be helpful in, like, then giving them a compromise.
Yeah. I think that's so good, and I mean, ultimately, like, yeah, we're talking about, like, battles you're fighting, and, like, it is true that a lot of times these feel like hard fights, and when you zoom out, it's like, it's just this little it's just a little thing, like, it's not even your whole day, like, it's not even your
Yep.
whole week or month or year or whatever, like, it's just affecting this little moment, and, I mean, it feels like you are in a battle, like, truly.
Yeah. Yeah, it does, and you do wanna, like, have that zoomed out version where you're like, "Okay, where does this fit in the grand scheme of things? How will I feel about this next week? Like, this decision that I made today, right now?" And I do wanna say, like, there is a difference between, like, permissive parenting, which is, like, if you're not familiar with that term, that's when basically you give in, and that's where the idea of, like, kids walking all over you comes from. That's when, like, you've said yes only because they've just berated you and berated you and berated you, and you don't wanna put up with it anymore. And so then you're like, "Ugh, whatever. You can have whatever it is that you asked for that I said no, because I don't wanna listen to you whine." Right? We've all been there. Like, everybody's done that at some point in time, but doing that regularly is permissive parenting, and that's so much different than listening to your child and taking into consideration what they're wanting and being willing to compromise while still setting a boundary behind the reason why you said no in the first place.
Yeah. I think that's so good because to me, when I hear the permissive parenting, in my mind, I see, like, the super spoiled high school students who are just, like, so mean and so rude to their parents, and they're doing it because they know they're gonna get what they're asking for, like, they're just pushing, 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 and, like, yeah, I just get this, like, picture of, "Oh, I don't want that for my kids," like, I don't want them to be like that. I don't wanna be that parent that is just so exhausted by it all that I just am giving in all the time. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
It's and it yeah, there's moments where I'm like, "Oh, that's what he's gonna turn into because I'm just giving in," or, whatever, and it's like, no, ultimately, like, this was a moment, this was a day, this was not his
Yeah.
whole childhood, this was not my whole parenting.
But if you are giving in, if you're intentional about it and giving your reasons, like this can be so helpful for kids. And especially if like you have an older kid that is adopted or a foster placement that has had lots of other experiences outside of your home, giving them like the reasons why you've changed your mind can be the world of difference between being permissive. Because if you're just like, hey, can I have a piece of chocolate? And you're like, "No." And in your mind, you're like, because you already had ice cream and cake and cookies and whatever and about to make dinner, and you have that in your mind, but you just say no. And then they keep asking, keep asking, keep asking. And you're like, fine, whatever, here's a piece of chocolate. Like, what have you taught that child? Like,
Yeah.
think through that. And that's where you get this like, well, if I ask enough, they'll give in.
Mhm.
That's permissive. That's the spoiled child later, you know. And really, like, that's what you've taught the child to do. This is how you get attention. This is what you've told them this is what you need to do, you know? But if they're like, "Hey, can I have a piece of chocolate?" And you're like, "No." And they're like, "Come on, please, can I have a piece of chocolate?" And you're like, "Well, here's the thing. I'd love to get you chocolate. I love chocolate. Chocolate's great, you know, but you already had this, this, and this, and it's really close to dinner, and I don't want to give you any right now because then I'm afraid you won't eat dinner." And then they're like, "Well, instead of having, the piece of chocolate cake, can I have, 3 chocolate chips?" There's your compromise, right? You didn't give in. That's a reasonable request. You're not gonna spoil the dinner. That's your boundary, right? It's not too much sugar. 3 chocolate chips are gonna do nothing, right,
Yep.
in terms of sugar content, but they feel like they have some control over what they're putting in their bodies. They feel like you listened and you cared, and you've really, like, built so much trust in that.
Yeah, I think that's good. I've had moments where, you know, Judah has overdone it, like, had too much sugar, too many sweets, whatever it is, and then he says, like, "I have a bellyache," or "I don't feel good," or something, and so then we get to talk about it, and it's like, "Okay, let's go through, like, what are some of the things you ate today?" And he kinda, like, lists them out, and so then it'll come to the next day, and he's like, "I can't have too much." He said this earlier today, "I can't have too much sugar today because I don't wanna have a bellyache." And in my mind, I'm thinking, like, maybe he does have kind of a stomach ache right now, and maybe that's why he's saying it, like, I don't know where it came from, where it, like, popped into his mind to say that, but it's like he got it, like, there was a moment where
Yeah,
he had too much, and he recognizes that, and he can feel it in his body and told me all about it.
told you all about it.
Yeah, I think, like, thinking of the ways to connect with your kids over the requests that they're making is something that I wanna hit on too of, like, yeah, instead of just thinking it in your own mind, because 'cause we're busy, like, we've got things going on, maybe, like, a baby's crying, something's happening, you're on your phone, like, whatever, there's some distraction that you have, good or bad, whatever. There's some distraction, so it's easy and it's quick to just be like, "No." But, like, thinking about, like, getting down on your child's level and, like, explaining the reason behind whatever the decision is you're making, it goes so far in, like, everything we've already said, but also in just building relationship and, like, building connection with your child. And, we were talking before we started recording about, like, valuing connection over control. And, like, for
Mhm.
us as, like, very type A moms, like, we want control. Like, we wake up thinking about it. Like, what are we controlling about the day? Like, it's just so natural to think like that. And, it's not as natural, especially for me. It's not as natural for me to think about the connection side. I have to, like, be very intentional and really think about that.
Yeah, and a lot of these yeah, like, a lot of our kids that, I've mentioned, like, that have been adopted later, like, they've missed that connection piece,
Yeah.
um, and so it's like that much more important. I always tell parents, especially ones that like have a new adoptee or a new foster placement, I'm like, throw out this idea that you need to like lay down the law now. You need to lay down the connection now
Mm,
because you can come back later and form more boundaries where you were lax in the beginning, because you have a relationship of trust. But it is so much harder if you come in and like lay down the law and say, this is what we're doing out of the fear that they're gonna, walk all over you or whatever. And then later be like, why don't they trust me? That is so much harder. It is so much better to just come in and say, I'm here for you. Let's talk through this. I would say, like, before you ever say no for an older child, it should be like, let's talk about it. You
yeah,
know, that's funny.
that's
We
really
actually do
good.
that with even my little ones. They'll say, like, can we talk about it? Can we
I
talk
know.
about it? Because they're like, but I need to like talk about this a minute, mom.
I love the way that kids, like, it's kind of like for better or for worse, but like they pick up on the things that we say, and the little phrases or like little things in those moments that they grab onto and like put in their own little way. I love it. I think it's so cute.
It is cute. Um, what were some other? Oh, I was thinking about some other like battles I'm not fighting that I feel like are helpful for people to hear. So this is one that like you guys may resonate with. I don't know, but for me, like there's this instilled like what your kids look like when they're in public. Okay? That's just like instilled in my mind like they can be, like grimy dirty little kids at home, but like when you leave the house, they need to be like clean and put together and whatnot. But this is one where I have had to just like let it go, still working on it, still a little insecure sometimes about it, but, like, my son has an older sister, and so he wants to, like, wear dresses and paint his nails, and, so we leave the house sometimes with a dirty face, painted nails, and, like, a necklace, you know? And then my daughter, um has beautiful curly, I don't remember what type hair, but very tight curls, and she does not like me to do her hair. She doesn't I can do it, but she wants it down. So she doesn't want any ponytails, she doesn't want any twists, any braids, nothing. And it can look a little wild sometimes. And, I'll be like, "Can I put a clip in? Can I put your hair in a ponytail?" And I'm like, "Come on, we're leaving. Like, let's just do something," whatever. And those are ones that I've really had to be like, "What's your motivation here? Like, this is a you issue, not your child."
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a battle that I do fight a lot of times, that maybe as the kids get older, I won't fight as much, or maybe with the girls. I don't know. I feel like Judah is still in a stage where I can, like, pick out his clothes and dress him. Oh, but if Josh picks out his clothes, like, if we're going out all together and Josh picks them out, sometimes I'm like, I kinda wanna change him, but I don't. I just, like, let him go.
Sometimes I
So,
change them. When
yeah,
Greg picks
so
out their clothes, I'm like, "Oh."
yeah, so I guess that is a battle I don't fight sometimes, but I think about it all
But if they
day.
don't mind that's one thing.
Oh, yeah,
But if they're
this is
like
true.
it's when they're, like, adamant, like, "No, I don't want a clip in my hair. No, I'm not
Yeah,
taking this dress off." Like, that's the battle. I'm like, "Let it go, Laura. Let it go."
yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, I was the older sister who painted my younger brother's nails, and I'm sure they went all over the place with painted nails, so it happens.
Des likes to show everybody too.
I used to dress
Lovely.
my brother up in my gymnastics leotards, but I don't know if he ever
Mm.
left the house like that. I know we have some pretty good pictures because I have some good blackmail.
Same. We had a
Mhm.
blackmail photo of my brother. I'm pretty sure it got destroyed, but he was way too old to be, doing that and definitely did not leave the house. But I
That's
remember that
so fun.
vividly. Yeah.
That's so fun. Yeah, what are some other battles? I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we have had recently.
You said time, and I think that's a really important one for people to remember. Like, we always want to do things on our own timeline. And
Mhm.
sometimes just that extra, like, 2 minutes is probably not going to make that big of a difference for you, but it's going to make a huge difference for your child to not feel
Yeah.
rushed. I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
think
a big
that's
one.
good. I'm, like, at the 15-minute mark these days. Like, if I tell you I'm gonna meet you at 10, just count on 10:15 because 5 minutes per child.
I have to tell myself to be ready like 30 minutes before I actually have to be ready. That's how I do it. I'm like, "Okay, you have to be in the car by this time," even though that's not real, but I keep that number and I'm like, "Nope, by this time," and I never hit that number ever. But
Yeah.
I'm not late then because it was so far in advance.
Yeah, I should probably do that. That would
I
be
mean, it
better.
kinda stinks, but because it's always the last minute, "I have to pee," or
Oh,
"My
yeah.
seatbelt's not right."
Mhm. Oh, yeah. I know. It's like always and it's like something little, and then all of a sudden, time has gone by. Like,
And
how
you're
did
like,
that
"How
15
did
minutes
this
go by?
Yeah, I'm like, "We walked out of the house at the right
Yeah.
time, but it took me 15 minutes to get you in the car."
Yeah, I know. I know. There's definitely yeah, there's a lot of those moments, but I think, like, let's talk a little bit about for those who are listening who are like us, who are, like, very type A and or whatever, there's, like have you seen, like, there's a type C mom? Have you seen this
Yes, I
before?
have.
So it's like
I
you
teeter on
have
type C.
okay, I kinda think I do too. Like, I don't know all the things that make it up, but it's like you have the bags packed, like, you're going to the zoo tomorrow. You have the bags packed, like, the night before, outfit change it, blah, 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 whatever, like, all the stuff you're gonna need. But in the morning, you wait for the morning to, like, make the lunches or get the snacks or whatever. Like, you leave something, till the next morning, and then it ends up taking more time, your kids need more time, whatever it is. And so, yeah, I feel like that's kind of like I have the greatest intentions of being on time for things, but it's like the type C that takes me off the
Yeah.
rails. So I don't know.
I
I don't
don't
know what it makes
I
up though.
don't know where it came from. Part of me, like, I've only seen, like, a couple videos of that, and I, like, resonated with some of the examples, but not all of them.
Yeah.
And really, when I looked at it, I was like, I feel like this is, like, you're type A, but you're a mom and you don't have the capacity, and so you forget things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, because it
That's
seems like more
probably
like you know what I mean? Just like you're forgetful, like, it'll be
yeah.
like you have everything, blah, blah, but then you forget, like, you show up on the wrong day
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that, and I'm like, I feel like that's just, like, our cognition is bad.
Yeah. I know. I do feel like there
I'm
is
like, my memory is trash.
yeah, there is something that changes in your mind for sure, like in your brain. There has to be. Like, I don't know what studies have been done about this, but there's gotta be something. That's why, I've
There
started
have been
taking
studies. I've seen stuff.
oh, really? Yeah, there's gotta be. I've started taking creatine because, they claim that it helps your memory and brain fog and all the things,
Yes,
so
this is like the new this is okay, let's talk about this for a minute. This is not what we thought said we were gonna talk about it, but this is like the new fad, and I think it is so funny. I started taking creatine maybe like 4 months ago for like I started like working out more and like really try to up my climbing game. And so I'm like, I'm gonna take creatine. And then I went to the doctor and had some blood drawn just because I was like, I probably should just check, make sure everything's fine. I started taking some other supplements too. And I told her what I was taking, and my doctor is like a well, this is actually the nurse practitioner. She's like a functional medicine as well, and so like they're very like more in that mindset. And I was like, yeah, so I started taking creatine, and she was like, oh, for the cognitive benefits, and I was like, no, no, what's that? And she was like, "Oh, yeah, like, there's new research that shows that taking this is, like, really beneficial for cognition and memory and blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Well, you should have told me that, like, a year ago."
Yeah,
Like,
seriously.
what? And then
I
now I've
know.
seen it all over, like, everything that everybody's like, "Oh, yeah, creatine for cognition." And I'm like, "Oh gosh."
Yeah. Well, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks in, so we'll see if it makes a difference
Did you
over
get
the long
bloated?
term.
Did you get super bloated?
I don't think so. No,
Really?
I didn't feel bloated. I don't
Did you
take it
pee a
every day,
lot?
though. Yeah, but I already pee a
Oh, you
lot.
have to take it every day.
Oh, I just take it when I work out.
No, no, you have to take it every day. That I
Oh,
did read about this
okay,
because it's like consistency is actually more important, like making
do you have
sure
to
that you
take it at
take
the
it
same
every
time?
single day.
Like, at the same time every
It's
day?
recommended. Yeah, it's
Oh.
recommended.
I probably take it, like, 4 to 5 days a week.
I mean, it's pretty good, but yeah, apparently, like, consistency is the most important part.
Okay. Interesting.
I
Well, I'm also
This is
taking about
not medical
Yeah,
advice for
I know,
anybody
right?
listening.
Well, and if you want a glimpse into my supplement shelf that I have,
Regime.
yeah, I've got, like, this whole other thing I'm doing for, like, my gut health and blah, 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 too,
Mhm.
so maybe that's, like, offsetting the bloat from the creatine.
Well, you only get bloated at the beginning
Oh,
because, like,
okay.
creatine brings water to the muscles.
Yeah.
And so when I first I don't everyone doesn't experience this, but when I first started taking it for the first, like, 2 weeks, I was like, I'm so like, I gained weight. I gained, like, 4 pounds, and I was
Wow.
like, "Chat GPT, like, why am I gaining weight on creatine?" And they're like, "Oh, it's water weight." And I'm like, "That makes sense. My pants don't fit." Yeah. And then it went down, and then it's fine. Everything's fine now. But
Oh,
also,
okay,
I
good.
peed a lot
Wow.
in the beginning too.
Interesting.
Yeah. But
Okay, well,
now everything's like I'm good now.
maybe if I start taking it every day, I'll see that.
Should
I don't
try.
know.
This you
We'll see.
guys, this is why you come to our podcast. You think you're
Yeah.
coming and hearing about the meltdown and the fight that you just are not fighting today, but really you wanted to know what we're doing with our creatine and
And
why
how
we're
bloated
taking
we
it
are.
and
Yeah.
how bloated we are and how much we pee.
Man, so great. Oh, yeah, but I mean, I do think kind of, to like bring it all back. I do think that like brain fog as a mom, like that is a real thing. I think that there probably are like I think these supplements can help. Not saying you have to do that. Obviously, there's other things you can do. But ultimately it's like recognize that because there you have to give yourself some grace. We talked a lot at the beginning of the episode about like being intentional and sitting down and having connection with your kids, like, yes, 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 all those things. And at the end of the day, you're not going to do it all. You're not going to do it all right. Things will be left
Nope.
undone. And that's just the reality of it. So, yeah.
In the words of my therapist, you can't be all things to all people.
Yes. Amen.
That's what she said to me. And I was like, huh. Hmm.
And there's so many different
Yeah.
methodologies of like things I've heard of, pick 3 things you're gonna do that day or, like, whatever it is, like, pick your top whatever. I don't need to go into all the things, but ultimately, it is, like, you can't be super mom, super wife, super employee, super boss, super house cleaner, super like, all the different titles that you have and that you all the hats you wear, like, you cannot do all of that to 100% every single day. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of battles that have to be left unfought.
Yeah, you can't like be, we want to be intentional with our kids, we want to form connection, but like not every single conversation is going to go that way. They're just not. Like some of
Yeah.
them you're just going to let them what do we say at the beginning? Like you're just going to let them wear the pajamas. Like
Mhm.
it's fine,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and, like, really thinking about, like, okay, in a year, in 5 years, in 18 years, like, will this thing even matter that I'm stressed out about today or distraught about today or whatever it is? Like, that really is a good perspective to keep.
Yeah, it is. I think you need to I think like, setting some time to think about like how do my children view me? Like as a whole, like, what would my children say about me? And I think that's gonna be really telling, like, if you're a permissive parent, then you're probably like, that's gonna come across, you're gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, my kids would say I give them whatever I want, or whatever they want," you know? But if you're that parent that we're talking about that just, like, has some off days, struggles sometimes, like, what are your kids gonna say about you? They're they're probably gonna have really positive things. They're not gonna remember those, like, 1 or 2 times that you know, went off or just gave them the thing or just didn't fight that battle. Like, they're not gonna remember that as a primary, like, characteristics of you and your parenting. So, really
Yeah.
having that, like, zoomed out approach.
Yeah, it's such a good reminder. I mean, we talked a little bit about, planning for this episode and we knew we were gonna do this last week, but even just, like, today thinking about it and coming into recording, like, this is really do this for ourselves. It really is like we need to tell ourselves these things, and so, yeah, it's been a good reminder for me.
Yeah. Same, same.
Yep.
So if you're out there and you are, just wanting some encouragement, I hope you find that from our episode today. Our funny stories, our, helpful tips, but also mostly just know you're not alone. You're not the only one out there dealing with this. We're right there with you. And if anything we said today made you laugh, cry, or feel seen, please share this episode with a friend. And we will see you again next week with an interview. So someone new. So have a good night, guys.